Welcome to week 5 of our Stand resource. Well done for getting this far. If you've made it all the way through, you've only got to do 2 more sessions tonight and then our final one. Tonight we're going to look at what it means to live out a life of worship. Worship and justice going hand in hand and how those things work together. I got asked a question by my boss. He asked me this question. He asked me, if you could only do one of these things, which is more important? Is prayer more important or is reading your Bible more important? Just take a moment, just ponder that. Is prayer more important or is reading your Bible more important? He then went on to ask me the question, is justice more important or is worship more important? And I found the answer to both of those two things incredibly difficult to give. Which is more important, prayer or the Bible? Well, you need both of those things. You need to do both of those. You need to practice the rhythm of praying and reading your Bible together alongside each other. They go hand in hand. And yet, as the church, we seem to have done a pretty good job of separating worship from justice. But what the Bible seems to suggest is that those two things also go hand in hand, that you can't separate them, that one leads you to the other. Worship is the whole of our lives. It's not just the songs we sing on a Sunday. It's not just the acoustic guitar with your small group. It's not just the organ in the cathedral. Wherever it is you're worshipping, worship is so much more, so much broader than our liturgy and our songs and our practices. Worship is every part of our lives. Worship can be the thoughts we think and it can be the actions we do. But what we need to understand, what we need to learn and what I need to grow in massively every single day is remembering that the songs I sing should reflect in the life that I live. We sing these amazing songs, our God is mighty to save, but do we go and live that out every day? We sing these songs, God of justice, give us your heart, make us more like you. I want to be who you are. I want to be like you, Jesus. Do we actually then go and live that out? Does our Monday reflect our Sunday? And I'll be honest, I find that incredibly difficult to do. I'm not sure that I can honestly answer yes to that question, but I want to. And I'm sure for all of you guys that you want to. And that's where worship and justice meet. As we start to live out a life of seeking and pursuing justice, we somehow start to live a life of worship. Do everything you do for the glory of God. Jesus gave us 2 main commands. When he was asked the question, what's the most important commandment in the law? Jesus summed it up like this. He said, love God and then love your neighbor as you love yourself. One thing leads to the other. Loving God, worship, leads us to loving our neighbor as we love ourselves. Justice. We can't separate the two. And when we do, we miss out massively. Worship without justice is just self-indulgent, and justice without worship is self-defeating. We're trying to do something without the presence of God and the power of God. It's just going to be defeated. But when we combine the two things together, suddenly we find the life in all of its fullness that Jesus promises. There's this great bit in Romans 12 where Paul calls on all of us to become living sacrifices. And Paul was referencing the Jewish sacrificial system. It was something that his readers would have probably understood, that to atone for sins, put right the things that we'd done wrong, to put everything back into its right context and place, that you would sacrifice An animal normally, or a grain offering or a thank offering, these poor animals would be taken and their blood would be poured out as a sacrifice for the things that had been done wrong. And so when Paul is saying, become a living sacrifice, he's saying, become a person who lives in such a way that you help other people come back into right, correct, close relationship with God. He's saying, live for the sake of other people. You see, for the cow, for the poor cow that was sacrificed on the altars, there was no benefit. Being a cow in ancient Israel was a risky business. You lived a life, you got to eat your grass or whatever it was they got to eat, I don't know. And then one day your time would come. You would be sacrificed, not all of them, but most of them, a lot of them, some of them, who knows the numbers. Some of them would have been sacrificed on the altar to atone for someone else's sins. There was no benefit for this cow. And somehow Paul is calling us to the same thing. Be people who live in such a way that you benefit the lives of everyone around you, that you benefit the lives of other people. And it's there that worship and justice meet. It's there that life in all of its fullness is found. If we stay inside the walls of our churches or our houses or wherever it is you're meeting at the moment, you know, we'll get some of the life that Jesus offers, but it's as we go, as we meet the people who have the greatest needs, as we serve and love and get alongside and become family with them, it's then that we find life in all of its fullness. As worship and justice go hand in hand, as we follow Jesus into the places where we get to meet with the last, the least and the lost, it's there that we find life in all of its fullness.